Okay, hey everybody. This is Nikki with Delicate Tension Tarot. I'm finally back after my month-long hiatus in January. January was a tough month. I feel like there was a lot of really intense and complicated astrology in January in particular. I will say for me though, mostly it was internal stuff that I was dealing with and not necessarily external, but I do know that a lot of people were forced with quite a bit of external elements, pressure, complications, endings. It was just very intense. So I opted to take the month off and just focus on what absolutely needed and required my attention. And obviously and I'm sure some of you can relate, if there's a lot going on inside of you, it's very, very hard to sometimes just do anything. You really have to assess and deal with what's going on within yourself. You can't really run from it anyways, and if you do, it usually comes back to you. So took some time to deal with it, and now I'm back. At least for the month of February, you guys can comment and let me know what you prefer. I'm just gonna stick to doing one video for each sign per month right now. I did enjoy doing bi-weeklies, but I felt like for how much work I was having to put in, it was just really taking up a lot of time and energy, and I'm still kind of building this, so I'm going to keep it simple. But like I said, if you enjoy the bi-weeklies and you want them to come back, please leave a comment down below letting me know that that's what you prefer, and I will most definitely work on that. So yeah, glad to have you here. I've tried to do these readings quite a few times, and I've been having issues with my camera, so hopefully I can make it through a full video right now. So far I've only been able to do Aquarius. I've tried to do Pisces, Aries, and Taurus, and Gemini, and each time my camera would cut out. So let's see what happens here today. We do have Mercury going retrograde on the 16th in Pisces this month. It's a little weaker in that position, so I feel like, of course, there's still going to be issues and things going on, but just take time to not give into the chaos of, not signing anything. It really just is about slowing down and taking your time making decisions. So think through things thoroughly. If you're going to sign something, read, check all the facts, double check, triple check, do what you have to do to be absolutely certain as to what you're committing yourself to at this time. Personally, I just try to not have any expectations during a retrograde period, even if I do have things I'm looking forward to. I just go with the flow, because most of the time there's a bit of a snafu or a hang up. You just gotta roll with it. So I'm gonna go in sequential order, and since I have tried to do Pisces, Aries, and Taurus, I'm gonna go ahead and try Pisces one more time. So let's see what's going on for you guys. Show me what's going on for Pisces in the month of February. Sun, rising Venus. Show me what's going on with Pisces in February. Sun, rising Venus. You have the Six of Wands in reverse. So you might be feeling not as successful as you could at this time. Maybe you're waiting on some sort of news or some sort of victory. It's quite possible that you're still stuck in the Five of Wands, which is more so the battle. It can be internal or external. If it's internal, usually it means that you're having a couple of different things going on within yourself, like different points of view that each one of them has something to say, right? Makes you sound like you're schizophrenic, but it's like weighing out the pros and cons and then looking at all the other avenues. It can be a lot. If it's external, it could mean that there's other people in your environment that are either causing issues or you're just having issues with them, and it's keeping you from really establishing this sense of victory either within the self or the situation. Okay. What's blocking you is the Queen of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, and the Seven of Cups. That's a lot for a block. So it's quite possible that you could feel very confused right now. You could not know which direction to go in, which does fall in line with the concept of the Five of Wands. Honestly, too, you might really feel down on your luck, or you might feel as if just things aren't really going your way at this time. and that can make you feel very emotional, or you could be dealing with somebody who feels this way. Keep in mind that sometimes these readings, depending on what you're watching them for, it could be the other person's energy and not yours. So take it as it resonates, and if it doesn't resonate at all, you can always check your moon, rising, Venus, or whatever heavy important placements you have in your chart to see if that resonates more with you. Damn, guys. I swear, sometimes I'm just like, fuck, when I do y'all's reading, because you have so much going on. I feel like last year was just a really intense year for you when I was doing your readings. So down in your subconscious self, you have the Magician in reverse, the Five of Cups, and the Eight of Swords. It's quite possible, if this was not you, then it is the other person. You could have experienced or been doing some form of manipulation, or you weren't acting in your highest element, which usually means manipulation. The Magician is somebody who conjures and they try to create something, right? And it's reverse. The Magician's intentions are usually ill intentions. It's more of a con artist feeling. It's more of someone who, you know, changes circumstances, information to suit their prerogative in order to get what they desire. If this was you, I think you're currently feeling the ramifications of your actions, because with the Five of Cups, there is a sense of mourning a loss of more than one thing. It could have been people, places, situations, items even that meant a lot to you. But overall, it's a sense of grief, sadness, and loss. And with the Eight of Swords, you're feeling very trapped and stuck in this energy. Right now, I don't think you see the way out, which also just goes all the way back to the Five of Wands energy. You're in such a conflicting energy right now, and it feels like you can't really break free. To be perfectly honest here, from all the thoughts, feelings, or voices that are going on inside of you. There's so much happening inside of you, and it can be people external to you saying certain things, communicating a certain way, or things that they have said in the past that are making you feel stuck. Let's see what's going on in the recent past for you guys. I'm going to pull one more just because that one immediately fell. Ooh. You have Justice in the recent past, so it is quite possible that either you or someone else has been, the scales have been balanced. If there was any dishonesty in a situation, then that dishonesty has come to light. Justice is the card for me of universal karma, if not physical, tangible, real world law. So it could be court. But either way, justice has been served in the recent past, and justice is going to make sure that things are fair and balanced. If you cannot see that right now, I apologize. I'm not trying to anger or trigger anybody, but you have to understand that sometimes things play out the way that they do for reasons that we can't understand in the immediate moment, and it takes time to really simmer and come down for us to actually see why something had to happen. So take your time and really think about what is positive in your life right now, and if things have fallen away or fallen out of your life, it's up to you to decide if you're okay with letting that go. If there are things that are absolutely 100% so important to you that are positive for you in your life, please try to allow yourself to still work with that, or at least go towards that. But if there's things that have left your life that just weren't good for you, and if you can really look at it under a big picture lens, I think it'll make sense as to why something is no longer there. Now for your conscious forefront mind, or what I would like to call also the higher self, you have the Seven of Wands in reverse and the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. There really is a sense of just giving up here right now. I feel like it's just either things that you've been working on or things that you've been trying to block out per se. I feel like so much is falling away for you right now. And for that, I apologize. That's incredibly difficult to be in. And it is a very confusing state. You have 3 sevens so far here. I wouldn't be surprised if you had the 4th one come out. So right now you're in this interesting, intense moment of major changes trying to take place in your life, and they're really trying to move forward and become more symbiotic and balanced in nature, but you have to allow them to. You don't need to fight stuff anymore. It really feels like you need to either clean up or become clean, because there's so much in your life that really is trying to situate itself and organize itself and fall away so that you can really receive what it is that you deserve. See what's happening in the near future. You have the Two of Pentacles in the near future. You're going to be having to make a big decision. It's quite possible that you're not going to be able to juggle these two things for very long. You're going to have to put one down and really devote your time and energy to one wholeheartedly. See what's going on in your emotional sector. In your emotional sector, you have the Sun and the Empress. Emotionally, you might be seeking comfort at this time, or you might be thinking of a specific individual. There's something here about growth and expansion. Maybe through this conflict, you're growing and you're becoming a better version of yourself, or you're trying to. There could also be focus on the mother. You could also be thinking very deeply about specific partnerships in which you desire or want someone who is a stable figure in your life. Someone who's nurturing, someone who's loving. And not just that, but I mean, with me, the Empress is someone who's kind of like the quintessential badass, you know? She's a woman who can be everything. She can be tough, she can be strong, she can be soft, she can be someone who grows things to their full potential, she can be someone who employs others to do that. But emotionally, I feel like you're honestly desiring this for yourself. I don't necessarily know if you're thinking about another person. And maybe that's where the conflict is. Like, maybe you just can't get ahead. Maybe you feel like you're never going to have this in your life. For what's going on or what's happening around you, you have the Hermit with the Ten of Pentacles. There might have been major endings happening in your life, especially around family. This is usually generational in circumstance, so it's multiple generations. It could literally be grandparents, mother, you, whatever, whichever way you want to look at it. But there's a lot of silence and a lot of thinking and a lot of wisdom that's trying to be found right now. You could be, well, it's quite possible that you could have a mother who's dealing with something right now in terms of caretaking or looking after someone or being worried about somebody. Because I will say the man in this card looks a lot like the man in the Hermit's garb. And he's the grandfather. He's kind of like the only one that's left, and he's looking at 3 individuals who are still a part of like the family. And he's just kind of taking stock of what he has left. So there could be something around that as well. See what's in your hopes and fears sector. Hopes and fears, we have the Ace of Pentacles. I think you might be worried about money or new opportunities right now. You might also be worried about the concept of a gift. Because Ace of Pentacles is usually a tangible physical gift. Or you could be hopeful. There's this weird back and forth thing here where it's like you're hopeful but you're not. you feel down on your luck, but you want more, or you have someone in your environment who is trying to help prop you up, and I just don't know if you feel capable of doing that right now. So let's see what your advice is within the far-reaching outcome. Show me the advice for Pisces for the far-reaching outcome, please. What's the advice for Pisces today? So we have the Four of Swords. You need to rest, you need to take a time out, and you need to take a break from everything. We have the Queen of Pentacles. Start focusing on your finances, or start focusing on what you're doing for you. And then you have the Queen of Swords. Oddly enough, you might be dealing with two different people at this time. And I will say at the bottom of the deck, we do have the Three of Swords, and the Three of Pentacles just fell out, so you might be dealing with more than one person. If that is you, I do feel like you're going to have to make a decision, or you are going to have to make a choice, and you are going to have to devote or give an aspect of yourself to one of these people. I think you're taking a time out to really think about that and reflect and ask what it is that you need, or what it is that you desire even. But what's going to be best for you? I think that's really what you're looking at here. If this is not a relationship, then you're dealing with two different people who might be surrounding you at this time, forcing you to make a decision of some sort. Maybe one part of you is trying to remain logical and do what's right, and the other part of you is, you know, thinking about how you really want to nurture your life. But it's interesting too, because it's like, which one of these queens is going to be exalted into the Empress? Clarify the Six of Wands for me, and please, universe, clarify the Six of Wands. So I'm using this deck for clarifiers just to further clarify certain aspects. This is the After Tarot. It's a little different than the Rider Waite. So within the Six of Wands in reverse, the reason why you could be feeling this way, we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, Page of Wands in reverse, the Seven of Pentacles, and then the Four of Swords. You really need to take stock of, like I said, what matters to you and what is most important to you at this time. I feel like you have been hit with one thing after the other in terms of bad news. This keeps coming in, and I feel like a part of you is going, either what did I do to deserve this, or why is this happening to me, or like, what am I gonna do? You're really having to think and reflect about this now. This is only going to resonate with a very specific few of you, but there's something here about being visited within your dreams. It almost feels like you get these gentle nudgings, or almost like these visitations within the dream world from a specific person that it's almost like they're trying to guide you or help you. There's something very sweet about it. Something so sweet about it. Okay, I'm going to clarify Justice back here to see exactly what we're dealing with. So we have the Fool in reverse paired with Justice. There might have been some foolish stuff that was going on, because with the Fool in reverse, that is foolish energy. It's not the kind of Fool energy where it's about taking a beautiful leap of faith into just going with the flow. It's someone who literally like is dumb enough to, it's almost like they know what they're doing. They're being foolish. They know what the outcome is and they do it anyways. So it's almost like a self-harm in a way. So justice definitely has been enacted on foolish decisions or behaviors. Let's take a look into clarifying the higher sector. So we have the Ace of Pentacles clarifying the Seven of Pentacles in reverse with the Seven of Wands in reverse. I really do think that you just want to start off on something new or something fresh, but you have to choose. You have to choose between two things. That being clarified with the Two of Swords, you have to make a decision between either two people or two things that you find value in. And you're really having to use your intuition to answer that question, because I feel like if you haven't been here before, you've been here before, for sure. You've been here before. Let's clarify the Sun and the Empress. I don't think you have a lot of time to make this decision either. And to be perfectly honest, with us going into retrograde on the 16th, I'm not saying that I don't think you should make a decision, but I feel like you really need to wait until we're out of that period, because sometimes decisions we do make backfire on us in those periods of time. So with the Sun and the Empress, you have the Ten of Wands and the Four of Pentacles. There's something here where it's almost as if I'm going to be perfectly honest here. All this stuff that's happening to you is because it's trying to help you change. It's trying to force you to change, and it's trying to force you to let go. It's really asking you to let go of some of the stuff that you've been carrying around for a really long time. I mean, a really long time. It's gotten too heavy for you, and I think it honestly has prevented you from moving forward in any which way. It looks like you could be looking at the last 10 years of your life for what you've been carrying. It could even stretch back farther than that, right? It could go all the way back into childhood. But this really looks like the past decade for you has just been one thing after the other. And you've been trying to either, I don't want to say make up for it, or there's this thing where it's like, you kept torturing yourself for it. You carried it like a badge of honor without ever really talking about it. But for you, it was personal. With what's happening around you as the clarifier, we do have the Queen of Swords paired with the Ten of Pentacles and the Hermit. Whoever this is that's around you, it could be somebody who's a very good communicator, or it could be someone, it's whoever this person is, it's one of the people that's involved in the two. This is someone who is an excellent communicator. They're very wise. But the thing is it's almost like when you can't see the forest for the trees, they can. And I feel like they've been trying for a long time as well to help you get out of this rut. But they might have been trying in a way that you were resisting with the Three of Swords. I think you wanted, nobody wants pain, but sometimes we don't realize that we're literally inviting pain into our lives. Or it's someone who's going through a pain of their own or a loss of their own. So let's clarify the Four of Swords here. Four of Swords paired by the Six of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, you really need to take a time out, because I don't think you have the energy, strength, or fortitude, if I'm going to be honest, to even do anything right now. Don't feel rushed. And if people are rushing you, then I think you might want to examine that. Let's clarify the Queen of Pentacles here. We have the Magician. This kind of concerns me because you already have the Magician showing up in a less than positive aspect. Clarify the Queen of Swords. Clarify the Queen of Swords, please. And we have Strength. So yeah, I'm a little concerned because it's like on one hand, one of these people shows up as someone who is kind of manipulative. This could be an earth sign, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. And then the other person, and by the way, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. And then with the Queen of Swords here, paired with Strength, you have someone who could be Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. With Strength, which also correlates with Leo. I do find it interesting though, it's like with the Queen of Pentacles person, they show up as being a manipulator, and you know, they're having to use all the tools that they have in their bag in order to make something happen, either in the situation or with you. And then there's this other person who, you know, might communicate very directly and very intensely, but with Strength, there's so much patience and sweetness in that, that even if there's things that are spoken that sound harsh, it's like the amount of patience that this person has had to use or rely on is really intense. And if you aren't dealing with any people at all, then these are two aspects of yourself that you really need to tap into. You need to look at how you can have strength and be strong and set boundaries and communicate what it is that you need, while also creating what it is that you need. Because if this is just you in an intense situation where you don't know what to do next, you have all the answers. You just need to take a time out to figure it out. Because I feel like you have this direction that you desire to go in. It's just about moving. I'm going to pull 3 final cards from, okay, the deck of character, which is an awesome deck. It looks like you have Whole, Cauldron, and Fuel. I feel like you need to take the time with this energy that you're feeling right now. I do feel like you kind of feel like you're in a bit of a hole, but while you're in the hole, you need to be conjuring up what's next. You need to actually be changing things. You need to be figuring things out, because that's the only way that I think you're gonna be able to get out of this energy. It's almost like you've been given all of the tools and all of the fuel that you need in order to create really what's waiting for you in these next steps and opportunities. So just take some time to sit and think about it. Take some time to reflect on what you've invested in that either hasn't invested back into you, or what you've invested in and it's just fallen short. Take stock of your investments, whether it's in things, places, people, yourself. You have to look at these things, and at some point you're really gonna have to like let the dead weight go. Because you've been carrying around that really fucking heavy load of garbage for a long time. And I do think it's impacted and influenced your ability to either be happy or to be happy with people, or to be happy with anything in general. So you need to let it go. And I think that's why there's all this intense energy surrounding you, because it's really forcing you to feel the pain. But it's almost like it's forcing you to feel the pain through feeling the pain of something else. And in feeling the pain of something else or the event, it actually pushes everything up to the surface and asks you to deal with it. So stay strong this month, Pisces. This really is a time for you to just like go with the flow, allow yourself to be secluded if you need to be introspective, think about things, allow yourself to feel them, and then you need to do some house cleaning. Because it is time to make a decision in your life. There really is this kind of like weird fork in the road where you can go one way or you can go the other.